Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's CalFX here, and I'm back with another one. This was a great week for me. I had a break even at the beginning of the week, and then I ended up having a beautiful win on USD-JPY. It was on Thursday. It's not a pair that I particularly look at. That's not that much on my watch list. I ended up catching the trade while it was already the POY, but because I entered on the seconds, I was able to manage a great entry in it. It was a beautiful 1 to 15 risk to reward ratio. I'll put the picture right here for you guys to see. It was a beautiful trade. And also on the private group, we had a lot of great signals that were sent there. This has been a great start of the month of May. So, and also to see their progress on the students, for me, that's the most important. So yeah, it's been a great start of the month. And yeah, guys, all right, so let's start. Before I get into the video, guys, there is the 35% discount on the lifetime mentorship. So it will end in May 8th. So if you guys are interested, feel free to check it out. I'll leave my DM below. So all right, guys, let's get into the video. So we're gonna start with EURUSD as we always do, and let's just give a quick glimpse from the daily time frame. I think that's especially as an intraday trader, I like to start from the daily time frame. So if we look at the daily, just real quick, we can see that EURUSD is heavily bullish, right? The swing structures are still bullish, right? We had this break of structure, mitigation, break, mitigation. We just had price closing above this previous high right here with this move. Then price came back, mitigated this down candle before the up move, right? Or the block. So now what we were expecting to see from the daily is for price to, it was coming above, right? All the way up, but we were expecting to see price closing above the previous high, which was this one right here. So price actually failed to close above. We actually seen this week right here, even the second one, right? This was the second attempt for price to close above. It failed. So usually when you see something like that, that's a sign of bullish sentiment in the market depleting and the bears actually taking over at this particular point. So there is a possibility that we may see price actually coming all the way down, at least to this a very extreme point of interest. So if I drop down, for example, to 4-hour time frame, right here on the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we had this previous sweep right here, right? Price actually came down, swept this previous structure low, and then pushed to the upside. It left this very unmitigated, very clean unmitigated order block. And then that's when price started to push and it failed to close above this previous high. We can see right here that price actually failed to close above. Price came to this extreme supply, M15 supply zone, and now we see this strong push towards the downside. We can see the candles right here, right? So, and we have a ton of liquidity sitting below, right? We just have this relative equal lows. We have this trend line liquidity here. And if I zoom out, for example, for you guys to see, you guys can see a ton of liquidity that, it's been built for a while, right? If I just use the trend line like this, right? We can see that we had the first tap here, second, third, fourth tap. So there has been a huge, ton of liquidity that has been being built below right here. So I'm still expecting to see EU coming all the way down to this order block, and then we have a continuation to the upside. So as an intraday trader, for example, let me just drop down to the hourly time frame. If we look at what's going on so far, is that price, we just had this break right here, right? This actually I sent on even on free Telegram group. I think it was on Wednesday. So I sent this while price was already here. So anyone, if you guys took that trade, that was a nice one. But we just had this break right here. Price ended up taking this swing low right here. And so I still have this point of interest right here, right? That there is a possibility the price may want to come back to, right, using this previous high as inducement, right? Because price just came into this point of interest right here, because this was the decisional that ended up taking this previous low. So now it's reacting here. So there's a possibility that price may pull back a little bit, right? And then we have the sweep of this structure high, and then we have the continuation to the downside right here. So that's what I'll be eyeing for, you know, from Tuesday on EURUSD, because we have a ton of liquidity. So this could be a nice opportunity for us to sell, and we have a ton of liquidity that we can target, right? So that's it for EURUSD. Let's move to the next pair. So we come into Aussie dollar, and we can quickly look at it from the weekly time frame. I mean, which is just, I mean, as far as we can see, it's just very clear the intention right here, right? We can see that we just had this beautiful order, bearish order flow right here on Aussie dollar. Price came to the extreme supply zone, respected. Then we had a weekly change of character right there, right? So within this range, we just had a beautiful weekly change of character. So price now, you know, as soon as I saw this, I actually said, okay, anything around 50% of the range, I'm willing to sell from, is to at least to start looking for selling opportunities, right? So if I use the Fibonacci, for example, from this low all the way to this high, right? I would say, yeah, we can say all the way here, right? From this swing high, price is around almost at 50%, right? Because there is a fair value gap right here, and which is in between this order block right here. So this right here is a very valid zone for us to look for sales, right? So if I drop down, for example, to the daily time frame, we'll be able to see the point of interest right here that had a very strong reaction, right? Which is this one right here. Price actually came here, right? We can see price came first time here, then the second time it swept liquidity, then finally gave a change of character right here. So if I bring price, for example, to the, let me just go to 2 hours time frame, we can see something very quite interesting is that price just came into the first step, right? Then price made this swing low, and then we had this swing high. What happened here? Price failed to close above the previous high. So what does that mean? The bullish sentiment in the market is depleting, right? So price then had this strong bearish push towards the downside. Price came back, swept liquidity, right? So this is what I like to see, especially when it comes to order block. I like to see a high, right? And then we have a low. And then, for example, just let me go back. All right. So then we have price actually giving us this low and then this high. So we can see that this high right here was swept, and then price went on to break structure. Even it ended up taking this hourly swing low, which is a very strong low. I mean, very significant low, right? So what I'm expecting is to see, okay, this high right here, it grabbed liquidity. So this is a strong high. So I'm expecting to see price actually coming here, respecting this zone, and then we have a continuation to the downside, because we also have a ton of liquidity sitting below, right? So in this scenario, because this is an hourly order block, as I always say, you know, whenever price comes to my hourly order block, I like to wait for M15 change of character. So if we drop down, or even M30, right, that's the same thing. So if we come to M30, we can see that the M30 structure is still overall bullish, right? We just had this high, low, price made this high, then made a low, and then we have this high. So what I will be looking for, especially because I'm a scalper, right? I'll try to find selling opportunities at least to this order block sitting below right here. Then I will see if price is going to continue towards the upside and violate this supply zone, or we will then have that 30 minutes change of character to the downside, right? So that's a great, I mean, price is already at a very significant supply zone. So it's very valid for us to start to look for sales here. So if I see a great M15, or I mean, change of character, let me just go down to M15. I mean, we have a minor structure right here on M15, right? We can consider this right here to be a high, this a low, and then we have this structure high right here. So if I see a nice, I mean, change of character all the way down, then I can start to look for sales on the lower time frames, right? So that's it for Aussie dollar. Let's move to the next pair. Now, GU is very, I'm kind of two-sided on GU, because if we look at it from the monthly time frame, the structure is just overall bearish, right? It's very, very bearish. And we can see that we had this first break of structure right here. Price then came back perfectly. We had a mitigation, right? At first here, we can see this wick right here. This actually was a failed attempt for price to close below, because when it comes to break of structure, I like to see price closing below a previous low or high. That is a more of a solid break of structure, right? Because it just confirms the strength of one side. So if the bears had closed below, it would just show that strength. But price actually came back right here and failed to close above, right? But then we had price coming back to finally close below this previous low. So the break of structure was only solidified right here. So now when I look at this situation, we have what we call breaker blocks. I'm pretty sure you guys are familiar with that, but this right here, this bullish candle right here was it pushed price to the upside, right? Ended up taking this liquidity, right, from this previous structure high. And then we had a break of structure. So this is possibly a zone where institutions may break even on their positions right here, especially after because they opened this buy position to grab liquidity, then they have to sell immediately. So this is a zone of break even for them. That's what we call breaker blocks. So it actually coincides with the fair value gap of this range right here, right? Where it starts, because if you look above, the price action is efficient. We don't have imbalances right here, right? We pretty much don't have imbalances. So the price action here is efficient, but here we have some sort of inefficiencies that need to be filled. So I'm expecting to see price coming to this breaker block right here. And so if I drop down to the monthly time frame, we can see that bullish structure that was forming right here, right? We had the break, pull back, then a second break, right? And price is just coming towards that supply zone. So I'll try to see what's going to happen once price taps this breaker block. I'll wait for 4-hour change of character. So if I drop down to the daily, as price is coming, I mean, the daily structure is still bullish, right? I mean, the bias right now is bullish. If we drop down to 4-hour time frame, there was something that I was kind of expecting to happen during the week, which was we had this liquidation right here of this previous minor structure low, right? Price came back, grabbed liquidity, and then engineered the move that went on to break this previous structure high. So my expectation was to see once price was here, and we had the buildup of these relative equal lows. So I was expecting to see price actually coming, grabbing the liquidity, and then we push to the upside, right? So what happened is that price actually continued to push price to the upside and left this liquidity. So we have this order block right here, and we also have liquidity sitting right here. So there is a possibility that price may use this right here, right, as an engine, right? So then it grabs liquidity, and then we have that push towards the upside. But also there is a possibility that price may come to this extreme, and then we continue to move to the upside. So I'll still wait to see what's going to happen with price, because I believe that the pullback is already about to start. So on the lower time frame, such as M15, I'll try to look for sales, at least all to grab this liquidity towards this POI. Then I'll see if this POI will hold, and wait again for an M15 change of character once price comes to this 4-hour order block, right? So the bias is still bullish on GU, right? The daily, the weekly has turned bearish. Daily is the weekly has turned bullish. Daily is bullish. Hourly is now bullish. So we should just look for buys, right? Sales only if you want to counter trend on the lower time frame, pretty much just to ride the pullback, right? That 4-hour pullback towards its order block, and then we continue towards the upside. So that's it for GU. Let's go to another pair. So New Zealand dollar, similar to Aussie dollar, we can just go to the weekly time frame, because the bias is already, very, very visible right here, is that we had price coming to the extreme. So you guys can see how similar this is to Aussie dollar, right? They're moving, actually. They kind of have some good correlation. Price just came to this extreme supply zone. What happened? We had this high, we had this low. Price failed to close above a previous high. We already know bullish sentiment in the market depleting at this particular moment. Then we had the bears coming strong to take out that low. So we had the change of character right there. And if we use the Fibonacci, right? If I just use the Fib from this low, right, all the way to this high right here, we can see the price just came above 50%, which is a valid area for me to look for sales, right? So we have this order block, we have this one at the extreme. If I come to the daily time frame, that's where it's very, very visible, very clean, is the price. Once price came to our weekly supply zone, we had the high, this high, then we had the low, then this high. Price, even here on the daily, price failed to close above. We know that's a bullish sentiment in the market in depletion, right? Then the bears come aggressively, take out that low. So we have this order block right here, and we also have this one at the extreme. So in case this, these zones right here on the hour that we will just see shortly get violated, there is a possibility that Aussie dollar may want to push price to the extreme before we have the full release to the downside, right? So we've got to consider both zones, but we have to react to what the market is telling us at the moment. So price actually came to this daily and it respected. We had this huge rejection week right here. Once price tapped, we can see the price even gave the hourly change of character right there to the downside. So just showed that this was a very significant daily supply zone. So if we drop down to 4-hour time frame, we can see that if we look at the swing structure, right, we just had this high, then we had this low, price made this high into the daily POI. So it respected the supply zone, we had a change of character. Price then did what? Came back to mitigate the change of character point of interest. Then we had the second break of structure. Look at all these imbalances that was left right here, all of this. And we had an extreme supply zone, that one, right? So this right here was the order block right here. So once price comes to my hourly supply zone, we already know I like to drop down to lower time frame. It can be M30, or even 1 hour sometimes, right? But I like to see a change of character right there from 30 minutes to 15, even 1 hour. That's totally fine. So once price came here, we drop down to the hourly time frame. So if we look at what happened in the hourly, is that price did exactly what we wanted to see. We just had this nice change of character right here. Price closed below, then we had this nice V-shaped recovery into the supply zone. So we still, as of now, we actually seeing price respecting this 1 hour supply zone right here. And what I would be looking for actually is for selling opportunities as soon as price came here, but I actually wasn't trading that much yesterday. So price is still, as of now, price actually is respecting the supply zone. So I'm expecting to see price continue to push to the downside, right? And we have that second break of structure, which is just going to confirm the bearish order flow on the M30 1 hour, right? So all the way to the downside. So I'm still, I'm going to be monitoring the price action here on M15. So if we drop down to M15, we can see that, let me just zoom in, zoom in. We can see that, all right, we had this demand zone right here, right? Price came, pushed. We can see that price failed to create a high right here. So this was the, high reluctancy. Then price broke structure to the downside. So we can just look, wait to see price actually doing a pullback, and then we drop down to 1 minute and look for maybe confirmation entries right here, right? All the way to the downside. So that's what I'll be eyeing for the next week on Aussie dollar. The higher time frame intention is just very clear that it's heavily bearish, right? So I'll just be looking for sales, long-term sales, right? So that's it for New Zealand dollar. Let's move to the last pair. Now, UJ, we should start from the weekly time frame just to get the clear picture of the high time frame intention. So if we look at UJ, I think it's very clear for all of you guys to see that UJ is on a bullish, is a bullish high time frame intention, right? We had this break to the upside, left huge amount of imbalance and a mitigated order block. Price just pulled back right here, and then broke structure again. So this right here wasn't a strong low to hold because we also had so much imbalance sitting below. So price ended up pushing aggressively towards this demand zone. This is the weekly. So as you guys know, whenever price comes to my weekly supply zone, I like to wait for our daily change of character, right? So let's just drop down to the daily. So we can see right here, let me just zoom out. So we can see that if we look at the structure, right, the swing structure, we just had this daily low, right? And then we had this high, and then we had this low into the weekly demand. So once price came here, it held, right? The demand zone held. Price gave us a nice daily change of character to the upside. This was the first sign of bullish intention. We have an order block sitting below. That's what we expect to see price reacting here and then continue to push to the upside, giving us the second daily break of structure, which is going to confirm the daily bullish order flow, right? But as so far as we can see, the daily is just bullish right now, right? Because it's pushing all the way to the upside. So once price came to this daily, we could drop down to the 4-hour time frame and watch the price action, right? So we can see right here, let me just push price right here. We can see that once price tapped the daily, our daily bullish order block, we had the 4-hour change of character. Price came back perfectly mitigated. We had the second break of structure. Price came back right here to the around 50% of this range low and this range high. It was below 50%, nice mitigation, and then a push towards the upside. Now, what I'm expecting to see is that, okay, price just broke structure right here on the hourly. This is the 4-hour, and we have this demand zone right here, the order block. This actually was refined on 30 minutes time frame. So we have a demand zone that is holding right here. So once price, as we know, once price comes to our 4-hour demand zone, I like to wait for M15 change of character, or even 1 hour, right? It can be M15, M30, it can be for 45 minutes, whichever one presents a much cleaner on the block, right? So if you drop down, for example, to the hourly, we can see that once price tapped this 4-hour or the block, we just had a beautiful change of character right here. We had this low, we had the high, and then we had this low right here. Then what happened? Price actually just gave us a nice change of character right here. So what we're expecting to see is UJ to come back to this POI. We drop down to the M15, or some of you guys can drop down to 5 minutes. Look for that confirmation, a change of character, right? And then you can take your buys right here, all the way up. So if you understand the high time frame intention, you know where to target. You can target that daily high, right? That's a long-term target, but I would recommend to make sure you take your partials, right? But long-term, you should target the daily high and also that weekly high. I mean, just for long-term. But right here, price just gave us that 1 hour change of character. So I'll be looking to see price coming back to this point of interest. And, you know, I'll be looking for buys, right? So once I buy here, my target is going to be this daily high right here, right? Let me just go back to the daily real quick. My target is going to, my intraday target will be this daily high, to take out this daily high, or even this 4-hour right here. And then we have that continuation towards the upside, because we have seen that the weekly showed us the bullish intention. Daily has turned bullish, right? Give us a bullish change of character. And then 4-hour is heavily bullish. So I think we should just follow the trend, wait for price to come down to our 1 hour change of character right here. Very clean setup right here. So once price comes to this order block right here, we can just look for confirmation entries. For these people that don't like to take confirmation entries, you can just set your stop loss somewhere here. Make sure you cover this low right here with like about 72 pip stop loss, and you target the daily high. I think this is gonna give you a good risk to reward ratio, and you know, that's it, right? Just by entering on the high time frame, I mean, all the conferences have lined up, right? So this is our kind of like a high probability setup. So that's it, guys, for the market outlook for the next week. I hope I was able to make all the points here clear. So guys, if you guys like if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button for me, man. Give me that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Don't forget that there is the discount, right, on the lifetime mentorship. So if you're interested, feel free to hit my DM. The link will be in the description below. And I'll talk to you guys soon.